Ho ho ho! We just got an early Christmas present in the form of Wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass Course DLC. 8 new tracks are here for us to race on, featuring classics from the GBA, DS, 3DS, and Wii era, as well as 2 tracks from Mario Kart Tour and 1 brand new one. Today, we'll be checking out all of those 8 tracks one by one, and I'll show you a bunch of things you probably didn't see because you were racing way too fast. It's time to visit a real-life city once more, and this time, London is the destination. As you can expect from those tour tracks, you'll be seeing some real-life monuments as you begin the race on the Westminster Bridge. You'll soon see the big Nelson column right in front of you to then drive through the Leadenhall Market. You'll also be able to see the London Eye Ferris wheel a couple of times during the race, and you'll cross the famous Tower Bridge. If you thought this was the only bridge you'd be crossing today, you'd be wrong, as the Waterloo Bridge also makes an appearance during the second lap. Of course, your tour of London wouldn't be the same if you didn't see Big Ben and Buckingham Palace. In fact, there are so many landmarks on this track that I probably missed a couple. London Loop is by far the most detailed Mario Kart Tour track of all those DLC waves released so far. Oh, and London Loop wouldn't be London without the inclusion of the double-decker buses, the famous red telephone booths, and those big red post boxes. New shops run by the inhabitants of the Mushroom Kingdom have made their way to London, such as Princess Peach's Jewels, Roy's Smooth Sound, Chain Chump's Racing Chains, and a couple more. I hope that you didn't spend all of your money during Christmas and Black Friday, because there's a big sale right now at the Toad Shopping Plaza, up to 70% off everything! Now this is a sweet deal. Next up is a track that received quite the overhaul. GBA Boo Lake looks nothing like its GBA version, now featuring a section taking place underwater with anti-gravity. In fact, now that I think about it, the original version didn't even feature water at all. Why is it called Boo Lake if there is no lake? Cringe. Thankfully, this is all solved now, and there's even fish bones swimming in that lake, proving that this is quite the spooky one. Boos will be watching you throughout the track, although they no longer hold candles in their hands, which is a bit disappointing. But this spooky mansion in the background makes up for it, as it features swoopers coming out of the top window and flying behind those boulders over there. Ooh, creepy. To be completely honest with you, 3DS Rock Mountain is actually super faithful to the Mario Kart 7 version, featuring almost no changes whatsoever, besides some graphical updates here and there. I think the biggest change here is the fact that the big section where you go up the mountain and dodge the boulders is now an anti-gravity section, allowing you to get boosts by hitting other players or the bumpers that were added to the track itself. You can still glide near the end and use those pipes to skip this section of the track, which is always super helpful. Did you miss Wii Maple Treeway? Because I know I did, and wow, does this track look good! You'll be racing on tree stumps and branches, and the details on the track just make it lovely. There's little houses scattered throughout the race, which we can't enter sadly, but we can still get a good look at those. Our buddies the Wigglers are back, and they still walk around in circle trying to block you, and if you run at them at full speed now, you will spin around instead of just bunking like you did in Mario Kart Wii. The wooden bridge near the end of the track has been made more secure with the addition of a handrail, but I tested it and it's pretty much useless. Also, the fishnet near the end has been completely removed and has been replaced by a gliding section, which actually fits the theme quite well. Maple Treeway is also one of the 2 tracks from this wave of DLC that includes some sort of half-pipe type area to pull tricks and also get some yucky coins. Ugh. Okay, the next track, Berlin Byways, has a lot to unpack because, as you can probably figure out, it is based on Berlin, the capital of Germany. This track features a whole lot of real-life places, buildings, and statues. Let's start off by looking at the beautiful Berlin Cathedral, which is located to your right when you start the race. Throughout the 3 laps, you'll be going through the Brandenburg Gate a couple of times, and there are even going to be thwomps blocking it at some point. Get those guys out of here! The road we drive on while avoiding cars is actually a recreation of the Straße des 7. Juni, which is quite difficult to pronounce, but it is also a street in central Berlin. Hey, look in the back there. It is the Berlin Victory column with the statue of Victoria, a Roman goddess, on top. Lap 2 will make you drive past the famous Berlin Zoo with its iconic elephant gate. Sadly, we don't get to visit the zoo in this track as it is closed to Mario and his friends. Bummer. You'll drive through the most popular park of Berlin, the Tiergarten, and for your final lap, you'll get to pass the Berlin Wall, now featuring graffitis of the many brands from Mario Kart, which is actually pretty cool looking. Also, watch out for those wumps, as they really want to crush you. Finally, you'll get to see the Chiller Monument before crossing the finish line and completing this track. As you can see, it was full of details, and yet again, it actually makes me want to visit Berlin in real life. Who would have thought that Mario Kart 8 would be the thing that got me into traveling around the world? I don't think I ever was the biggest fan of DS Peach Gardens, but I do have to admit that they really made it way more fun and interesting in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. First off, this garden is really looking good, and I'd actually love to share a cup of tea with those Shy Guys and Toads chilling on the benches and the little tables there while checking out the flowers and the grass hedges. Speaking of, the maze section has received quite the makeover, now featuring topiaries of Princess Peach, Toad, Toadette, and even my boy Luigi got one. Heck yeah! The Mario one is still at the beginning of the track, so don't you worry about that. Speaking of things that are still on the track, Monty Mole is still there, and he is as annoying as he used to be. Ugh. One thing I didn't expect about this track was the addition of this brand new section only accessible on lap 3, and after you jump off that ramp, you'll actually be driving the race in the opposite direction, which is definitely interesting, and gliding over the entire hedge maze is actually very cool. Now, this track truly is a Christmas gift, because of how cool it actually is. Merry Mountain is full of holiday spirit, featuring a beautiful Christmas tree, decorated houses, many different little booths where you can buy ornaments, gifts, and much more. There's also a bunch of giant gifts that I'd love to unbox right away, and we cannot talk about this track without talking about the flying train throwing out coins on the track. I was actually wishing for Santa Claus to be driving that train, but alas, in the Mushroom Kingdom, Santa is actually just Toad. Ugh. The track features lampposts made out of candy canes, as well as a bunch of candles that are actually shaped like green and red warp pipes, which is a neat detail. If you go to this snowy part of the track, you can see the entire village from up there, and boy does it look pretty. Sadly, unlike Berlin Byways, this track is all made up, so I'll never get to visit it in real life. Last but not least, 3DS Rainbow Road has made its appearance in this game, making it the 4th Rainbow Road track to appear in a single Mario Kart game. Now this is epic. Let's be honest for a second here. This track looks fantastic. Out of all the different versions of Rainbow Road, the actual Rainbow Road has never looked so good. This track will have you drive next to multiple planets, you'll see Earth in the background, as well as Neptune and Saturn. You'll even drive on the rings of this last one, so that's pretty epic! Landing on the moon near the end will reveal an anti-gravity section, which is always pretty cool, and you'll get to see 2 rocket ships with some astronaut toads just spinning around in a circle, waiting for someone to rescue them probably. Like, they don't look in control right now, somebody help them! So yeah, 3S Rainbow Road is fantastic, and it's actually super nice to have this track back. Thanks a lot for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see the hidden details in Wave 1 and Wave 2, tap the cards on screen right now. It's super interesting, I promise. Alright, subscribe, bye!